So this is my 9-month carnivore update. Um, I've been doing carnivore for 9 months now, entering into month number 10. And there's been a lot of changes, a lot of discovery, but mostly good stuff. The first thing is I lost 98 pounds. So that in itself is amazing. But the reason that I really started carnivore was because I have osteoarthritis right here in my hand. And it got so bad that I couldn't hardly hold my cell phone. And when I was first diagnosed, I thought it was just tendonitis until they did x-rays and then they came back and told me what it was. So the first thing I did was went out and looked at, okay, how do I treat this? Because I'm not a person that likes medications. I don't like ointments. I don't like pills, none of that. I'd rather heal it naturally if I can find a way to do it. So I spent a little while researching that over the weekend, and everything that I was reading kept pointing to carnivore. So I was like, well, I've done carnivore before just as a short term thing. So I decided, what the heck, let's go all in. Let's do full carnivore. Let's see what happens. Well, 9 months later, my pain is almost gone. Now, I do have a physically demanding job, so I'm sure that kind of helps keep it a little bit agitated. I'm retiring in a couple of months, so I know that once I do that, my body will have a better chance of healing completely without that stress on my joints. The next thing I noticed was my sleep got better, and it was pretty good to begin with, but I would wake up a few times through the night. Going on carnivore, it improved, but the thing that really made a difference was magnesium glycinate. I started taking that at night, mainly because I was getting leg cramps, and it's kind of stabilized now, but adding that magnesium in really got me into some deep sleep. And now I'm sleeping to the alarm. And before, I would always wake up before my alarm clock. Now the alarm clock wakes me up. The other thing was mental clarity. Um, if you've never experienced it, it's hard to explain. But just imagine waking up in the morning and being ready to go. For me, I spent decades, thinking I needed coffee in the morning to get myself going, and I probably did. Now it's a give or take. I really don't need it. I enjoy it, so I'll have a couple of cups. But I mean, at one point, I drank coffee all day long just to function. So that's improved tremendously. That's pretty much most of it. I've had a few uh, times that I've indulged in things one at a time here and there. You probably saw my video on dairy. If not, I'll link it up here. And I found some issues with dairy. I'm okay eating some of it in moderation, but if I eat too much of it, then I have issues, and I cover that in the video. And you may have the same issues. I don't know, but it's worth watching to see if you do, just to kind of filter out whether you need to cut out dairy for a while or not. So check that out and see if that kind of gives you a little bit of help. My grocery bill has gone down quite a bit. Now it's just me and my wife. My kids are grown adults. So our grocery bill wasn't that big to begin with. But when you're buying chips and soda and pasta and all this stuff, it just seemed like the grocery bill was well over $100 a week. Now that we're on carnivore, it's less than $100 a week. It's usually around $50 or $60 unless we're buying like toilet paper, paper towels, laundry detergent, something like that. But as far as the groceries themselves, 50 or $60. So I can't complain about the financial side of carnivore. That's been fantastic as well. Um, I've learned so much over this 9 months, and it's really taught me how to research and how to look at studies, how to know when something is really not quite there and is misleading based on how they structure the wording. And it's real easy to get caught up in these sensationalized headlines like, oh, red meat causes cancer. New study shows red meat causes cancer. And then you read it and it says, well, there could possibly be a correlation, maybe if this criteria is met. It's a bunch of BS. There are studies out there that are randomized controlled studies, which is you've taken people and you have controlled their diet for a specific amount of time, and in the other group, you gave the other diet, and then you look at the differences at the end of it. And there's only a handful of them, but they're powerful studies because they were randomized and controlled. And you can't argue with the results of them. It's not an epidemiological study where somebody filled out a questionnaire and didn't give you all the answers or wasn't accurate. This is actual clinical, doctor controlled, where they controlled the diet. And those are the studies that you really want to look at. I really don't have a problem with bowel movements. Some people do. I don't. I had diarrhea in the beginning, which I figured was just my body adjusting to running on fat instead of sugars. Since then, everything's been pretty normal. Every day or two, nothing major. It's normal. So I really don't need fiber to deal with that. I have diverticulosis, so when I'm eating fiber and stuff, I occasionally have the bout of diverticulitis, but with carnivore, I don't have that. So it's easier on my gut than what all of the fruits, vegetables, grains, and all that crap that I was eating was doing to me. So that's pretty much my update. Really don't have anything negative to report on it. Everything's been positive. I'm back in the shape I was in my 20s and 30s, as well as my clothing. So there's really, I don't see a downside to this at all. I'm going to continue on to this, and I will give updates each month moving forward, just to kind of, share where I'm at and if anything's changed. Hope you enjoyed this video. Give me a like, subscribe down below, give me a comment. Let me know how your journey's going if you're doing carnivore, even if you're doing keto or ketovore. Let me know how it's going. I'd love to hear your story. And as always, have a great day.